Hey, good day, everybody. Happy Thursday. Thanks for joining this series of calls where we enable, empower everybody to find the job they love. Today's session is about ATS applicant tracking system. All you need to know by our great, experienced, Yvonne. She will tell us lots of insights and wisdom about, the ATS and what does it do and what does it not do as well. So this call is going to be recorded and streamed social media and YouTube. So if you're not comfortable being recorded or streamed, please leave the session now. So this community is going to help you with your networking and with your practice, skills, knowledge, and finding the job as well. So we work to help see everyone in a job they love, as well as find your full potential. So today's session, Yvonne is gonna speak for maybe 35 minutes. Maybe she will open up for questions in the middle, but we want to ask you to limit your questions to 2 minutes to give a chance to others to ask as well. At the end of this session, we want to ask you to fill a 1 minute survey. This will help us understand your needs and guide you through future speakers and also recruit other topics for you. We also take a group selfie at the end. This is going to be used for marketing purpose. So please stay on till the end and put your camera on if you're comfortable. That again would help us interact further and give the speaker more motivation to share everything. This whole community is all about volunteering, so nobody's paid anything here. So if you're open to provide quotas and recommendations after the session to the speaker, that would be great. Again, it will also help you as well being visible in the LinkedIn specifically. So our promise to you, you will not walk alone. Again, this community has proven to help people getting hired. Some people already got hired from this community. So if you continue to show up, if you continue to apply what you learn, if you continue to ask questions and be curious and also teach others what you learned, this will help you get hired faster. So our goal is ambitious. We want to help 1,000+ people to be hired in 2021. Despite the COVID, despite the things happening, there's tons of opportunities, but there is a way of doing the homework, and this is what we will help you to do. So our ask to you is again, be curious, ask questions, don't feel shy. This is a community for you. Everybody's here to help you. Our friend Mike Zibara is a recruiter in IT. He could also find positions for you if you're, currently in the market and in the IT sector. If you want to learn from our previous sessions, our previous speakers, we have lots of sessions about resume, LinkedIn, storytelling, and other great nuggets. Go to the YouTube channel and you find all those videos. I'm going to share the link as well in the chat. So coming up this Sunday, we have Present Like a Pro in Zoom. This is going to be delivered by Dr. Paul. He's an expert speaker, TEDx coach for speakers, and a book author as well. Next Thursday is going to be off for Canada Day, so everybody could enjoy the off day. So all those events are going to be shared in Eventbrite, Facebook, and LinkedIn, so you can also register continuously. So today's session, the objective is how to set up an learning about applicant tracking system and understanding how it works so that you can find success in getting an interview. So our speaker, Yvonne, is a leader in the staffing industry, providing career and leadership coaching to thousands of individuals in Canada and worldwide. I've been one of them. I've been working with Yvonne. She's fantastic. She did an awesome, work when I was searching for a job, and I really appreciate all her wisdom. She retired from MindWire Brain Hunter Systems in March 2021, where she served for 15 years. She was the Senior Director of Staffing Delivery Services, Recruiting, Sales, and Proposals. Yvonne now operates Goal Inspired Career Coaching Inc., where she helps mid-level career professionals, leaders, and executives get hired and elevate their income by communicating their message with confidence. using her 5-step career advancement methodology. With that, I will hand it over to you, Yvonne. The floor is yours, and you can share your screen.
Okay, so thank you for inviting me, guys. I'm so happy to be here, and all of our objectives are to help career professionals to find jobs, right? We want everybody to be working because we're excited about that. So today we are going to talk about the applicant tracking system, and I'm just going to, before I show you my little Mythbuster video that I created for that, is the reason why I got involved in this Mythbuster. There are a lot of myths on LinkedIn and YouTube about recruiting and about finding jobs and all that. And what I find is that many people, when a myth becomes, when you hear these things, they become limiting beliefs. And when you're going to look for a job, you don't want to have any limiting beliefs, because if you feel that you're not going to get the job because your resume is being blocked by an ATS, you're not going to get the job. You have to go into this with a lot of positivity. Mike will tell you, and Ahmed will tell you, you have to be positive, because job search is not very easy. It is difficult. So you don't want the other things that are not important to be getting into your way. So the reason why when I was on the staffing side, like Mike, I didn't hear much about this, that it was such a problem for job seekers. This year, when I came on the job seeker side and I'm reading a lot of the things on LinkedIn and YouTube, I'm finding that it is a big thing. It is huge. A lot of people are very frustrated with it. So Ahmed and I decided that maybe, since I know a little bit about it and I was a recruiter and I've used one for 15 years, some of the career coaches have never used one. So only a recruiter, say like Mike and myself, who have used an applicant tracking system, can tell you what it does, because we know about the back end of it, okay? So we are experts in the applicant tracking system. So we're going to talk about that. So I'm just going to share my screen a little bit just to give you a little video. And just enjoy the little videos, my little blockbuster video, before I get into it. All right. So can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
All right, so now, okay, so we're going to talk about the applicant tracking system. And I just want to tell everybody that I'm active on LinkedIn. And if you are on LinkedIn, connect with me, because I share content every day for you guys, and so that you can up level and be the best that you can be in your career. So today we're talking about the applicant tracking system. So we're going to learn what an applicant tracking system is, why we use it, and who are the builders, who build us, who build them, who do we buy them from, who uses them. We're going to get into the ATS a little bit so that you can see the back end. You're going to see what the recruiter sees, but I'm not using live data. I'm using like screenshots, because we use Bullhorn. So I'm going to show you some screenshots so that you understand it, and get you to understand Boolean search a little bit, and why it is the implications for your career. So what I want you to know, that there's no beating of the ATS. I see that all over. You got to beat the ATS. You got to do this with your resume to beat the ATS. You're going to have to hide some words in there, so you are beating the ATS. Or I didn't get the job because my resume could not get through the ATS. There's no going through the ATS. So what the applicant tracking system is, it is really a software, a COTS application that we would probably buy from companies that sell them and customize them for our needs, right? So there are companies on the job market who sell them. And what the recruiting firms and the big companies would do is to work with those companies to customize it. It's like buying a tin of sardines or something and customizing it your way, or buying a dress that didn't fit and you're customizing it your way. But generally speaking, the applicant tracking system is a software that does more, even more than tracking applicants. It also keeps the details of your clients and the companies that you do business with. And the reason why companies have to buy these things is because it makes them more efficient. So there is no reason why you're going to worry about this thing and think that the companies are not going to use, and they're going to use it because they have to buy it for efficiency, right? So some companies have volumes of applications, maybe Microsoft. You know how everybody wants to work at Microsoft? So when they put out a job, a lot of people are going to apply. Amazon. Some of these people, they don't buy the ones they customize, they make their own. Right? So companies like, I understand Microsoft does, I'm not so sure, but Amazon, they make their own in-house custom built one, right? But companies like maybe Mindwire and Brain Hunter and Veritag and those companies, they buy the COTS application, and the companies that sell it come in and customize it for their needs. So the way we use it, if our company and say Veritag or one of the other companies out there were using the same application, it would be different. It would be used differently because you customize it according to your business process. Small companies probably do not use this because it's very expensive. So they might have other ways of tracking their applicants, right? And one of the reasons why it's very important, I would put out a job and say you need Government of Canada security clearance, and you get thousands of applicants without it. So you need a system. You would not be able to hire enough recruiters to sift through those applications. So pretty much, as I say, it is done for the efficiency for these companies, right? So it also has a CRM aspect to it, a client relationship management tool aspect to it. Ahmed would know about this because Microsoft have a big CRM that tracks customers and clients and help you with workflow. So it also helps the company with their workflow to streamline the hiring system, right? And help with automated communication. Some companies don't use the automated communication, some does, right? For example, it also distributes the jobs. If I am writing a job description for our website and I want it to go on Monster and Indeed, write the one job description and with one click, it sends it out to everybody, right? So it means that it is more efficient to us. And also some companies have it because I did put something about the US there that they need to comply with certain regulations. I kept it in because I was doing a US presentation too. But in Canada, we have the Ontario Human Rights Commission, right? So it is good to have it because some companies, I understand that if you have certain number of employees, you have to advertise your jobs. So it is a good way to show that you have a system of showing at audit trail that you are advertising your jobs, right? So there are several of them out there. There's Italio, the ICIMS, the Greenhouse, JobVite. I'm sure you've seen some of those, Brassering, Lever, and we used to use Bullhorn, right? And as I said, some companies do their own, such as maybe Google, and I hope I'm not saying wrong, maybe Microsoft, Apple, and Facebook. Large companies, they create their own. They don't need to go to people like Bullhorn and say, let me use your stuff. These guys are huge. They can build their own. They have a lot of staff, and they have the capacity to build their own. So they don't have to go and use other people's stuff, right? So that's how huge they are, right? Okay, so LinkedIn also has an applicant tracking system. So if you're afraid of it, get off LinkedIn, okay? LinkedIn has its own applicant tracking system, the recruiter board, because I used to use the LinkedIn system which was integrated into our applicant tracking system. So there's a backend integration, right? So that is important. I just make sure I mention that to tell you, embrace it. You're looking for a job. These are tools to help you to get through. But I'm going to tell you later on what you're going to do to make sure that your resume gets noticed, okay? So as I said, LinkedIn has an integration. And if you are applying for jobs through LinkedIn, guys, just make sure or ensure that you go into the security section and click the section that says you want to share your profile with the job poster. There's something in LinkedIn in the security section when you click on the me icon, you will see the security section. Today is not about LinkedIn, but just make sure that it is clicked so that when you apply through LinkedIn, your resume gets where it wants to go. This is very important. Reason why it's important is because you're a job seeker or you're a career professional. No job is permanent. Maybe one day you're gonna have to look for a job. And it is also important that you understand the system, right? Because remember, career goals are life goals. And if you did not have a career, you'd have a business. So you treat your career as a business. That is what I teach. Treat your career as a business. So what I'm going to do right now is tell you a little bit about, and I'm not advertising for Bullhorn, but I have it in my presentation because it is the one that I use, and I'm not paid by Bullhorn. And Bullhorn, if they see this, they know I'm using screenshots, right? So I'm using screenshots from Bullhorn. And the reason why you might not be able to see the details here, you don't need to see it. What I want to show you is the interface. So when you submit your application to Mike or myself, and we are using an applicant tracking system, this is what the interface of, say, Bullhorn look like. You have the candidates, which is stored. If I click on candidates, I'm going to show you what you would see. Jobs, so we would have all the jobs list. Yeah.
Yvonne, we're still seeing your Canva. If you're sharing different screen.
Okay, so I'm seeing. Are you seeing Canva?
Yeah, we're seeing your Canva.
Oh, okay. So I am sharing the presentation through Canva.
Yeah, but we're not seeing.
Are you okay with it?
It's just one slide. It's not moving. So
the slide is not moving. Oh, okay. All right. So let me see how you're gonna see. I'm so sorry about that. So
no, that's okay.
I wanted you to be able to see the interface because I'm clicking all the screens. So which slide are you seeing? The first one where that says applicant tracking system?
We see the slide where it say, is there an ATS bot blocking your resume? And somebody is falling down and saying, oh my God.
Ah, I see. Okay. Okay. So let me go back here quickly.
If you want to stop sharing and reshare the whole desktop, maybe that would be easier.
All right. So let me go back here.
We also use Bullhorn for everything.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. Oh, good. So I have two screens looking at right now. Why am I having two screens? Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing quickly. I'm going to stop sharing. This is a screen I want to share. Can you still see my screen, guys?
Yeah, we can now see your screen. Yeah.
Okay. So I think I will be better off now.
Yes, I think this is
sorry about that. I think I had two screens open for somehow because when we started.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
This is good. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. This is what happens when you are live, guys. You start before you're ready, as I always say. Start before you're ready. Yeah. That means that we are not shy about anything. As a job seeker, you're not to be shy. You will always make mistakes, but you go back and you fix it. That's what happens.
You learn from them, yes.
We learn from our mistakes. Next time this won't happen. All right. So let us, so Mike knows Bullhorn. I know Bullhorn very well. So if I'm telling you stupidness, he will just shut me down right now.
No, I won't say anything.
So this is the interface, as I say, that you see. Okay, so I don't want to bore you with all that. I just want you to know that it holds more than jobs. It holds more than candidates. It holds the companies, so the client database. And if I were to click on candidates, it will take me to here. So what I'm trying to tell you, that your resume doesn't fall through. You are in the system. So when you apply to Mike or apply to me, or if you applied to me before, we already have your resume in the system. You don't have to worry. All right. And when we click on, if we should click, say, on one of these binoculars, it will take us to your resume that looks like this. Now, this was a screenshot, as I say, so it is kind of not clear, but I made sure that I put some relevant, clearer, headings there so you can see, right, what it looks like. So we can go into the system and see your resume. So it's not gone anywhere. It didn't fall through. It didn't drop through. Okay. Just want you to know that. And we can also go in there, and there is a word editor in Bullhorn that we can actually edit your resume inside of Bullhorn. Okay. All right. So that's a word editor. You can edit the resume in there. So the reason why I'm taking you to this screen is that when the Mike or myself go into the system to get your resume out, we need to do what we call a Boolean search. So you submit your jobs, you submit your resume to Mike, you submit your resume to me, and we go into the system. How do we find your resume? We do what we call a Boolean search, right? And these are the operators, and, we use or, we use not, we use punctuations and brackets and quotations, and what we call wildcards, which are asterisk, in order to get your resume out, okay? And I'm going to show you what one of those things look like. So they say if I'm looking for a database manager with 5 years of experience, with 2 years of VB, but I do not want experience with Microsoft. Sorry, I don't want Microsoft. All right. So my keywords are, I should have said Oracle. Say Oracle, Unix, Linux, Manage, VB, Visual Basic, Microsoft, and or star quotations and not. I'm going to say, I'm going to do a search for Oracle and Unix or Linux and Manage. I put a star there so I can get Manage, Manager, and VB or Visual Basic, not Microsoft. So the reason why I'm going to land here a little bit is for you to learn that when you're writing your resume, the reason why we say that you're to use the keywords is because when we are searching for you in the database, we are searching for the keywords. We're searching for Oracle. We're searching for where we want Unix or Linux, right? So we have to put Unix. If we put Unix in there, we might not get Linux, and we want to make sure if you have Unix in there, we get Unix and Linux and Manage, right? And VB or Visual Basic. Why did I put VB or Visual Basic? Because some people write Visual Basic and some people write VB. But the resume that Mike and I want to pull out, we don't want to put, there are going to be lots of them with Microsoft. I don't want Microsoft. I want my search to be cleaner so that I can find the person faster. Because remember, recruiters are paid to recruit. They are paid to find people fast, right? And their metrics is based on how many people they place, right? I used to place lots of people, okay? Place thousands and thousands of people. How am I going to get to thousands of people if I mess around, right? So what we do is to make sure that we put a nice refined search, right? Sometimes the search might be relaxed and we go back and tweak it. But this important part is for you to know that when you're writing your resume, you're not going to hide anything. You're not going to pack up a bunch of keywords in there. But when you're writing your resume, you are supposed to write your resume by saying what you do, for whom, and with what. Right? So I develop an application with Visual Basic, using an application for so-and-so using Visual Basic, right? So that when they search for my resume, they can have the Visual Basic in there, okay? Or I use Oracle and Linux. And if they say, well, I want 10 years of it, every job that you have done for those 10 years, you have to make sure, because we're searching, you have to make sure that you have Oracle, you have to have the Unix, you have to have the Manage, and you have to have the Visual Basic. Not only in the first job, it has to be in all the jobs for the 10 years. If they say they want 10 years of experience, you have to make sure that the 10 years that you are identifying on your resume for those companies and the jobs you worked in has all the keywords. So you're going to be repeating, but you're not just throwing a bunch of keywords in there, right? You're going to say who you help and what you have done and with what in all the statements, because every job is different, but you use the same tools and you do some of those same activities, right? So pretty much, I just wanted to make sure you understand why the keywords are important. But when you apply for a job, your resume is the ATS did not block it. If anybody blocks your resume, it's you. Because you did not make your resume job description friendly. So when you are applying for a job, you take the job description and you make your resume job description friendly. And you also make sure that for every job that you apply for, you customize the resume in accordance with the job description. Okay? So you have the job seeker, you have the database, and you have the recruiters here. That's Mike and that's me. And we are using the Boolean search to get your resume out of the system. Okay? All right. So the implications for you is I'm probably not going to go through all this because it's a little bit more detailed there. And you know, I messed up a while ago because I was not ready. I started before I was ready and all that stuff. But what I want to tell you is that you match the keywords of the job description to the words in your resume, right? Use long form acronym version of keywords, right? So you're going to use DBA and you're going to use database analyst, right? Because that is important for the search optimization, right? Use the keywords through your resume at every chance to explain your offering. Do not be a keyword buffer, right? But you have to contextualize the sentences. And if you are in IT, writing a project-based resume, make use of the, after you write all your requirement, you know, what you have done, the task you perform and so on, at the end of it, make sure you make use of the environment. And that's when you can list some of the tools that you have used in that particular job, right? So make sure if you're in IT, make sure that you make use of that and you will get more keywords into your resume. Okay?
Can I give a little bit more detail here, Yvonne?
Yes.
Yeah, so what Yvonne means here is the environment. Let's say if you work with Microsoft project, if you work with the Jira, if you work with you know, Azure DevOps tools, you could put those in the environment because those are keywords that, you know, the ATS could scan you in or out because of those keywords. Back to you, Yvonne.
Yeah. And I was gonna, at the beginning, at the end, I'll probably show them that I have a YouTube channel where I have a specific video on how to write a winning resume. And if you watch it, you will get my resume framework, which is kind of developed for more of IT people, but it is developed so that everybody can use it, but I detail each section. I say, if you are in IT, this is what you do, right? So if you would like to grab that at some point, that would be wonderful because it's a framework. It's like an interview generating machine. Everybody who uses it get noticed, okay? So I just wanted to let you know I had a freebie there for you, okay? All right.
I just wanted to add something. If you identify some of the technologies in the environment, be sure that you have it listed in your actual project and what you've done with that technology. Not just, you know, say, I've done this project, I built this product for this client, you know, and these are the technologies I've, you know, the environment that I've used, the technologies. Make sure that you identify in the body of the content of your employment and project what you've actually done with that product. And it's like a story. You've got to tell a story of what you've done. And always be sure to identify what you yourself have done in the project, not just as a team.
Exactly.
Make sure that you identify that, like what you've done.
Yeah, those are good points. So in the I'm not looking at the resume template now, but in the work, the selected professional experience, when you're writing that section and you're going to write, you know, designed application using Java for so and so for the web CRA website or something like that, make sure you in that section you say what you have done with what. And at the end of that, you're going to have an environment where you're going to list all those tools again. So an IT person resume is always 100% optimized because you always can make use of that environment section. And you should be noticed. Once you tell your story, as Mike said, properly, once you tell your story, what you've done with the application and what you've used to develop the application and what tools you use in terms of development tools and other tools to build the application, and you mention it again, and you're going to mention it in every project, your resume would be keyword optimized. You don't have to go and list a whole bunch of keywords anywhere else. So you're good with that. And another thing I wanted to say now about the ATS. So a resume must be clean and uncluttered, right? A resume must be clean and uncluttered. Are you with me, guys? Are you with me? Look like I'm off again.
Yes.
Okay, so remember,
Yeah.
a resume must be, I'm going to stop after this because I think you're going to have half an hour to ask questions. But remember, a resume must be clean and uncluttered. And you're not to have any lines, any extra columns, no tables, no special characters, no graphs, no clip arts, right? And be consistent with your bullets. And when you're uploading, if they did not say use PDF, use a Word document. Okay? So pretty much that's it, guys, for the ATS. And as I said, I do have a YouTube channel. You can go to YouTube and you can grab my resume framework because it's like an interview generating machine. And it is set up for the clean and uncluttered resume. So if you have any questions now, Ahmed, I can turn it back to you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Yvonne. This is all good. And I shared your link for the YouTube channel and also your Facebook group in the chat. So people will, go there and subscribe to your channel and also connect with you in Facebook. And I shared also your LinkedIn profile as well.
Okay, so in my Facebook, it is for career advancement. So sometimes I'm more about advancing your career than finding a job, because as I always say, anybody can find a job. But it is very important. I want to see everybody advance in their career.
Sounds good. So again, definitely lots of wisdom there, Yvonne. We want to thank you first of all, and then maybe see if any questions coming from the group. You want to come off mute, you want to raise your hand, you want to write it in the chat. Mike, before we go into the questions, do you want to share anything from your side as well?
I just want to make sure that when you do submit your resume to a position, that you are qualified for that position. And I'm sure Yvonne has also seen the same. Whenever you post a position and they're being submitted to your website, which automatically flow into the bullhorn, into the certain, whatever role that they're posted against, you'll get, I don't know, maybe 30, 40, 50 resumes. And when you start screening them, a lot of them don't qualify to be there. And make sure that you are applying for a job that you are qualified for that job, not for the sake of just sending out the resume. And you know what I mean? Because time is money for you, for them, for everybody. And it's easier. And if you are properly screened for that role, you will be called. Guaranteed.
Right.
Good point, Mike. Thank you. Okay. Again, this is time for you to ask questions, everybody. So feel free. You have two experts here in this call, Yvonne and Mike, who would really give you everything.
That's years of experience, right?
She's the expert. She's the expert. I'm just. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy doing it and love doing it. So
that makes you an expert.
I'm a career coach, as they say. What's that?
No, I was just gonna ask, in case the folks are still warming up and
yes. Anybody was confused about the ATS before? Did you hear the people complaining about it? Guys, remember, as a career professional, you got to be confident. So if you have some questions, ask some questions. We are friendly people. Making you feel comfortable.
Do you have experience with jobscan.com? Do you think JobScan is helping people with their resumes, and it could pass the ATS if they go through the JobScan?
I don't believe in JobScan. And they used to talk about ATS blocking resumes too. They have stopped talking about that since my friend Amy Miller on LinkedIn have shut them down. Because I think the application is designed is developed to do what it's supposed to do. For example, if in Canada, your resume don't have to be one page. I've never read a one-page resume. I reject it because there's nothing on there. And what JobScan does, what they code into because it's all coding, right? They code in. So if your resume is one page, if your resume is 5 pages, JobScan is going to give you a lower score.
Oh, okay.
Because it's all coded. They code what they want the application to do. So
Really?
I found that JobScan is not for me. JobScan is no. That it's better for the job seeker. Take the job description, go through each job that they have done, and customize each job in accordance with the job description. That is good enough for us here in Canada, maybe the States, but even people in the States are using JobScan and they're paying for scanning and they're still not getting the job. So the whole thing is don't go and spend money for what you don't need to spend money for. Customize your resume and make sure that you are qualified for the job that you're applying for. If they say 10 years mandatory, you have 5 years, you're not going to get it, because we work a lot with government too in IT, and even if we're sending them to Microsoft and Microsoft say they want 10 years for a cloud engineer and they have 5 years, they're not going to get it. 10 years mandatory, you're not getting it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Yvonne. There is a question in the chat by Hassan. So, what do you have a text font preference to use in Word document in the resume?
Yeah, I kind of like Calibri because it makes it's smaller too. I used to see like Times and so on, but Times kind of make the words bigger. And if you kind of want, if you want to cheat a little bit and make sure that your resume holds on those enough pages, I like Calibri.
Okay, thank you. Good question.
That's what
What
I
else?
use.
What do you use, 11 point?
Yes, Calibri 11. Perfect.
So we're all doing the same thing. We copy
Perfect.
each other.
So, again, if there is any other question, but let me ask you, so do you normally update the resume for some people? Sometimes, again, if you think the person is not able to write everything in the resume, do you help them as a recruiter, again, just to, when you see that they have the knowledge, they have the experience, but they are maybe struggling in writing the resume, do you?
So what if a recruiter does, and I'm sure that Mike does it too, because I would say I'm going to have a live stream one day about the relationship with the recruiter. It's good to have a relationship with your recruiter. It's all relationship, guys. I had a relationship with Ahmed. I don't know. I must have met the guy about 10 years ago and I still know him, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to have a relationship with your recruiter. You apply for the job. That recruiter is not going to send your resume straight like that to the government. They're going to work with you. They're going to call you. They're going to talk to you, and they're going to help you to ensure that the resume is speaking the language, because you don't write the way these job descriptions are done. But what you need to do is to make sure that you have the tools and the technologies and everything that they're asking for in the number of years, because if you don't have it, your recruiter cannot make it up. What the recruiter can do, they can wordsmith the resume with the language, but they cannot make up your tools, because our proposal people used to help us, to the technical writers, wordsmith the resume with the particular language. That's easy to do. If you say you've done it and don't know how to say it, we'll say it for you. But you have to make sure you have the tools, the years, especially the tools. If you don't have how many years of Angular JS, don't bother.
Yeah. And also, don't ever falsify anything in your resume, because with our clients, they read the resume so thorough, and it'll come out in the first 5 minutes in the interview. No, you haven't done what you've actually put down on paper.
Right.
And, as a recruiter, you trust that person that you're speaking with, that the resume is good, and what you're telling me you've done in the resume is good. We're not technical experts. We have an understanding of technology, but really when they drill down, we're not experts. And sometimes they'll fall through the cracks, and they'll get into an interview and they'll be there 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And then the manager says, oh, I got to go to a meeting. And then he leaves the 2 other, tech leads conducting the interview, and it's half an hour instead of an hour and a half, knowing that it's not actually true what's in the resume. So never ever falsify anything. If you haven't done it, don't put it in.
Right.
Rule number one.
And
Yes.
talk with your recruiter too. Talk with your recruiter. If you're going through recruitment, right, especially for the federal government, and most of us in Ottawa work for the federal government indirectly. Especially for those ones, guys, just make sure that you have a good relationship with your recruiter and make sure that you cooperate with them, because as Mike says, the recruiter cannot make it up, right? You have to give them the information, and because you are not resume writers, you are not you don't know. Even my husband say, how many times people really look for a job? Sometimes 5 years, 10 years, they're in a job long. They're not expert resume writers. So we know that you aren't. So what we want you to do is to give us the information and help us in order to get you through, because we want you to get the job. Ask Mike. So I used to do dances. I used to dance in the office. I called it my, every time we have some big contract when we dance, I dance. I get a bust out a dance in the office because I'm so happy.
You're right. There's nothing more exhilarating and enjoying, more enjoyment than placing someone or winning a big contract or something. And not only that, when you're finding people jobs, you're helping them with their future. Like I said, we're career coaches. We take them out of certain jobs where I don't think that they're going to be, it's not a good path for them, and try and put them in a better path. And that's what we do. And it's great. It's great. So.
Guys, we're your best friends.
100%.
Because we know that we sometimes take some families out of poverty.
Yes, that's true.
Right? If you weren't born with the nest egg, with a big nest egg, you have to work your way up, right? And we take people out of poverty. And I've seen people cry in my office before. They lost their job. So this is a serious thing. We don't take it lightly, guys. But you can find a job. Everybody on this call, if you're not working, you can find. I can guarantee you 100%. There's a job out there for you.
100%.
So again, the message here, guys, recruiters should be your friend. They should be your close friend. They would find a job if they, again, like you, and they know that you're professional. They know that you have wisdom, you have value. They will find a job. Again, it's win-win. They would win when they find you a job. You will win when they find you a job. So work with recruiters. I personally love to work with both Mike and Yvonne and others. They were, helping me a lot, at the time when I was searching for a job.
And I think Yvonne said it earlier on. If you build a relationship with your recruiter, we're not cookie cutters. We're not like just call up, hi, how are you? Have you done this? No, sometimes you drift off a little and you build a relationship with a person, depending on if they come from a certain university, or they've got some kind of a certain, sport that they like, or, they went to whatever, they're from down east or from out west or wherever. If you can find a connection and build a relationship, I think that goes a lot further away, long way. And not only that, if you do place them and they've worked in 3 or 4 other companies within the city, they're going to be sending you referrals, which is exactly referrals, like you say, Ahmed. Referrals.
Yes.
Yeah, because it makes your work easier, right?
100%. 100%.
No, we love our people, because I used to, take a lot of people. Sheraton knows me very well, 150 Albert. I take a lot of people there for lunch. We work with our consultants. We place the same person over and over and over again. You have a job, and sometimes you don't even, I believe another myth that they say, but it's kind of not a myth. Some jobs are not advertised, because if I have my 6 people that I know, and I get a job from Microsoft to fill, and I have some people that I know that are good for the job, I don't have to go put it out there. I just call up the person. Who do you have for this job? You go, the job just came up on the board. Oh, I always put my hand. I have 4 people ready, because I just interviewed some people. I just met some people. That person just called me yesterday. So what you should do, I'm going to do another one, as I say, to tell job seekers how to develop a relationship with a recruiter. It's a part of the system.
Thank you, Yvonne. Anna, Hassan, Julia, Marisa, Mauricio, Any questions, guys? I want to just give you a chance to ask questions here. Anna, you want to come off mute? Yeah. Or Mauricio,
yes,
go ahead. Mauricio.
yes, actually, I have a question. Yes, please go ahead. Yeah, sorry to.
Go, Anna.
Oh, it's okay. You can go ahead.
Okay. Yvonne, yeah, thank you very much for your session. It's been really informative. And I have a curiosity. When ATS is being used, to search for a person in the technical or in technical fields, it is always configured to search for the long format and short format of the technology, like VB or Visual Basic.
Yes.
And yes, always. So,
but it's a recruiter who does it, right? So I'm not going to guarantee you that 100% each recruiter is going to, you see, because this is how the human element comes in, because it is the recruiter who has to write the Boolean search string into the search area to do the search.
yeah,
right?
Mm-hmm.
So the recruiter has to put in Visual Basic with the quotes and VB and so or so, right?
Okay.
However, remember, it's not only one recruiter in the company searching that system. If Mike and I are working, well, I don't know how his company work, but we never really says this recruiter only work on applications and this one only work on cloud. We used to work on everything. So it's a competition inside of the company. So if I don't find it, my friend Biliana or somebody else is going to find it. So why wouldn't I do several versions of my search string to find you if you are the qualified guy? Because I would beat upon myself if I do my search and my neighbor over there find you and I don't find you. So in the companies, it's not only one person. So that probably helps because you have other people also searching at the same time for the same person in the same system.
Yeah, okay, got you. Yeah, but yeah. What is the recommendation for the applicants? So should we always refer to what is described in the job description? So
yes.
Like the same format?
If the job description asks for application developer with Visual Basic and what should I say, in Oracle and so, and you have it, you should put it in your resume that you develop the database or whatever with Oracle, or you develop the application with an Oracle back end. Because you know that Java is developed with Oracle backend and VB and .NET is developed with a lot of times with Microsoft, right? But Transport Canada uses .NET on Oracle. They don't use .NET on a Visual Microsoft SQL Server, right? So if they want, if I'm searching, and that is when I used to have an advantage over my colleagues when some of them didn't know the requirements, because every time I'm searching for anybody for Transport Canada, I knew they use Oracle backend, and some people thought they use Microsoft. So when I run my search quickly, I come up with the person and I find my candidate before everybody else in the company. How are you going to find the candidate if you did not put Oracle and you put Microsoft? So you're not going to get the dude. You're not going to win the contract. You're going to have Mike over at the company getting the job and I don't get it, right? So that's very important. No, you're going to put everything that is in the job description there. You're going to make sure it's in your resume. If it is not in your resume, if you did not do it, you will not fit for that job. Move on and look for another job.
Yeah, okay. But should I put on the resume the same format that is described on the job description? So like if the position says that is looking for a Visual Basic programmer, so I should not put the VB on the resume?
The exact same words as in the job description.
To be safe, you can put Visual Basic, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right, and if you want to put VB somewhere else in there or put something in bracket, but I would write out Visual Basic.
Yes. Okay.
Write out Visual Basic. You're better off writing out Visual Basic. But a good recruiter will find you even if you put VB, because they're going to put Visual Basic or VB, or one of the recruiters in the company will find you.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Yvonne.
Thank you, Mauricio. Anna, go ahead, Anna.
I guess that my question is pretty much the same as Mauricio just asked, but I want to make a comment because you talked about the JobScan tool, and I use JobScan to adapt my resume many times. And I think that I have mentioned this before in the previous meeting, that I usually got very frustrated. I think this is the word, very frustrated, because I was never able, because JobScan demands you to use the exact same words as in the job posting. And it's not always that you are able to have all the same keywords or the exact keywords the way it is described in the job posting, and it wouldn't show me a high matching rate. So listening to you, I'm not using JobScan anymore. I guess that I do have the sensitivity now to note what are the keywords that I should put on my resume.
Mm-hmm.
But for a long time, I thought that I wasn't getting interviews or being noticed by any recruiters around, because my matching rate within JobScan was always below 80%, even though I was taking a lot of effort to adapt the same words into my resume. So from what I understood, depending on the tracking system that the company is using, the recruiter uses, it is not that tight way. It's not this way that they are going to look into your resume or your resume will stand up for them.
Well,
right?
all you have to do is, for example, most job descriptions start with a describing word: designed, developed, created. And when you're looking at a job description, and if we could go into that another time, is that the first few of them, they always start with the most important.
Yes.
Right? But especially for the government jobs, if you're going for Canadian government jobs in Ottawa, make sure that if it's a mandatory requirement, if you don't have it, don't bother. If it is mandatory, we cannot. If it is rated, you should still try to get it 100%, because even if it is what they call a 60-40 technical or price, because they have a lower rate for certain things. If you have another candidate, remember, you're always in a competition. If you have another candidate who has 100%, they're going to get the 100%, right? Yes. So the government ones are different. The private sector is not so strict.
No,
right?
they're not.
If Ahmed puts out a job and he wants, maybe you can go by with 70 or 80%, because they're going to interview you based on other things, your personality, how you interviewed and all that. Government is so huge that they have to have these big matrices that screen people out at the top, and you have to have the stuff 100%. But if you're going to private sector, it's a little bit more nuanced, more personality comes in there.
Oh, thank you. That's good to hear.
But it is very exciting.
True.
And you can find a job. Just make sure that, and a lot of things, one thing I want, a secret sauce in writing your resume is that if you used you didn't use Microsoft Project, they asked for it, or Clarity, right? If they ask for Clarity and you didn't have it and you have MS Project, I think Clarity is another tool like MS Project, am I correct? Because I can't remember. So if you could say, there's other tools that you can use for the project to do the project scheduling other than Microsoft Projects, right? Is it called Clarity?
Azure DevOps.
Yeah, but if it is not a Microsoft project, is Clarity a product?
Jira.
There is also Primavera as well.
Yeah. So if you don't have, say, the MS Project, you can say use so and so to do the scheduling, which is similar to MS Project. What you just did, you just got your keyword in, which is MS Project. So when the recruiter is searching, they're going to find you because you did say MS Project. So if you use a similar tool, you should always say, I developed this thing with this, which is similar to that. That is the secret sauce right there.
Turn a negative into a positive.
Yes, that's the secret sauce. So you're going to say, oh my God, I'm such a good developer and I don't have one tool. No, because you're a developer and you develop the application with this thing, which is similar to that thing. And because they're going to interview you, so they're going to, so at least you get your resume noticed. And when they notice your resume, you have other things that they like. But if you don't get your resume noticed, they won't notice that you have the other things. So just make sure you put that in there, that you have the something similar to the something, so you get the keywords in there. Design, develop, created. You also should have, I have on my website a whole list of words that you can use to describe the work you do. Some dynamic words, some describing words: design, develop, created, analyzed, and stuff like that. So make sure you use those action words and start every sentence with an action word. What you do, for what, and with what. All your statements should kind of look like that.
Excellent.
And you don't need job scan. Job scan is job scan.
Thank you.
Okay, so
you're going to come back to Ahmed and tell him how successful you are with your next resume. Go to my YouTube channel and download. It's called the Career Booster Bundle. Download it. I have a resume template that works like an interview generating machine. People have used it and come back to me. They get the resume notice in a week, in days.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I'll look into it.
Okay.
Okay, so again, we have a question in the chat, Yvonne, but let's take the group selfie first. I think maybe some people want to drop off. So let's take the group selfie, and then, we can answer the questions. We can stay further. Whoever wants to drop, feel free to drop after the selfie. Is anyone else want to come into camera? You want to be in the selfie? I'll give you a few seconds here. So when you're ready, all, I want to see a great smile. 1, 2, 3, and smile. Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks, Yvonne, for the great wisdom and the great insights today. And if you're able to stay a little bit, Yvonne, so the question...
I stay for all the questions you have, guys. I want to see all you successful. Are we all looking for jobs? Yes. Anybody looking for a job?
Everybody here is looking for a job.
Shy guy. When you're looking for a job, you must talk about it. That is the confidence. Get confident. Tell everybody. How are you going to know? Go on LinkedIn. Optimize your LinkedIn profile. Huh? Okay. Yeah. You got to go on LinkedIn. Optimize your profile. Get that resume and start reaching out to people. And when you go to YouTube, watch how to get jobs using LinkedIn. I have that. A girl, it's in my story today. That girl from Africa, she got the job in 3 weeks and now she's promoted. Okay. These are real stories. Okay, guys. Your LinkedIn is your best friend.
Thank you. So the question in the chat was, why did you say use the resume in Microsoft Word, not PDF? Why should we use Word, not PDF?
Okay, because you don't know what kind of system you're sending it through, and because the applicant tracking system is a system that reads your resume, it cannot read. It might not be able to. So for example, if you put it in PDF and maybe there are lines and boxes and all that, everything is just going to be jumbled and there's no reason why you can just upload it in Word. No, because you don't know what's on the other side, right? So to be safe, I always say you Word. You can send it in PDF too, but to be safe, I always use Word. Plus, if your resume comes to me or Mike and we have to, eventually we're going to have to work through the resume with you, especially for the federal government. We're going to have to edit it. If I don't have PDF on my computer, guys, I'm telling you, it's a headache for me to send it to somebody to convert it and send it back to me, unless I go download Cloud Convert and convert it and doesn't do it right. You're better off because a recruiter, don't worry about the recruiter changing your resume. They're going to change it anyway. You and them going to change it.
Yeah, and that's the whole key. You're so right, because we always ask for it in Word, because if we have to add more detail to the resume, which is probably 85 to 90% of the time, we're not able to do it with PDF. And when we go and unscramble or to convert it to Word, it comes back in such a mess sometimes. I throw my hands up that I'm not touching it. I don't know. You know, it's not going in. And when we submit it to our client in the private sector, we always take their contact information off. We send it in with our logo so that, you know what I mean? Here's a candidate. Give us your thoughts. Yes. Then we manage the interaction between the candidate and the client.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that way there, but honestly, if it comes in PDF, it's a nightmare.
All right, just look at this. You send your resume in PDF, like all of you, and we only need 2, right? And he has to, and a client says this morning, I need such and such a person, right? And he has your resume, right? And you could just call. Why would you think he's going to take the trouble to go and change up one? And he has already remember, you're always in a competition, right? So just make sure whatever you're doing, it's easy for the recruiter to work with. Because sometimes the recruiter has to do something, you know, speedily, right? So
time is money.
Yes, and he has to get paid. I mean, we're doing it and we love you, but we still want to get paid. I'm real, guys.
Love doesn't feed us, trust me.
Yes, you gotta get paid. You know, we love you and want to make sure you get the job too, but we also have to feed our families. So if we don't place anybody, we don't get no money.
Thank you, Yvonne. Any other questions?
Yes, I have one more question. So if
Go
there's
ahead.
time.
Go ahead.
Yvonne, how does the ATS treat hyperlinks and pictures in the resume? So is it true that if you have any of those in the resume, it is rejected right away?
It's not that it's going to reject it, because to tell the truth, it also comes in as an attachment, right? But it also parses the resume and put it in the screen there as to show you that you can read it on the screen, right? So the hyperlinks, I would not, no pictures. It's not necessary.
No.
Right, so the resume, make it clean and uncluttered. I think you're thinking that if you're a web developer and you want to show links to some websites and all that.
GitHub.
Yes, GitHub, yeah.
Yeah, get to your GitHub. I think you might have to, that sounds like that has to go through a PDF, but Mike, since you're actually using that right now,
sometimes they'll put their link, you know, to GitHub, and then you can go in and see the work that they've done.
Yeah.
And sometimes some of the clients will request it. Do you have a GitHub account so they can go in and see your actual work?
Because it comes in it comes as an attachment. You can put the link. I think the link
you can put the
fine.
link in, and they just click on the link. It goes right to the site. Boom. No pictures.
No pictures and no fancy fonts. But if it's nice and clean and you just have your link to your GitHub, I think that's fine.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Any other questions? I have one question, maybe, Yvonne. So some people would like to put some keywords in bold inside the resume.
No, it's so messy. It's so ugly. Listen, the only thing you should bold is what we call your tombstone, right? Microsoft, cloud engineer, duration, and then you heading, bold. And then after that, no bold. And then the other little heading, bold. Don't keep bolding. I see that sometimes because they think if they bold it, you're going to see it more. No, it doesn't matter because we're going to search for it and we're going to find it, right? So you don't have to bold it. When you bold it, it's a little bit messy. Not nice at all. And then Mike going to have to unbold it.
You're right. Absolutely right.
Mike has to unbold it. Guys, listen, there are no tricks in this thing. It's pretty easy. If you're qualified for the job, and you write your resume job description friendly, you're going to get called. You're going to get called. The reason why you're not being called is because your resume is not job description friendly. 100%.
Yes.
That's the only reason why you're not called for these jobs, your resume. And another thing that you can do, if you know the recruiter, submit your resume, find the recruiter. That is what my LinkedIn, my video says. Go, don't just submit your resume and sit down and fold your hand and hoping that you're going to get manna falling from heaven. Okay? If you send your resume to a company, go and find the people. That is why LinkedIn is there. Just don't, if you can, right? Do the best you can do. Listen, if you had a business, Your job, your career is your business. If you had a business, would you just sit down, send a resume through and forget it? No, you're going to go and find the people, connect with the people and tell them you've just submitted your resume for this job. You think you're a great fit. You think if you call Mike and tell him that he's going to run you away? He's so happy that you called. My God.
100%.
It's like a freaking party when you do that. When you connect with the recruiter and say, I just sent in my resume, because Mike and somebody else it's an internal competition too. You just call the guy directly and say, I applied for the job and I'm a good fit.
Yeah.
He just made his salary.
Yeah.
So you never thought of that. No, you think of that because he's happy that you called him so he don't have to go search for you.
But on the other hand, we get calls that people aren't really qualified for the position. They sent the resume in and they want to speak to the recruiter working on that role. I look at the list and see who's working on, because we all work on different roles. We don't all work on the same role. So I will direct them to the person who's working on that role, and they'd be happy to answer any questions that you have, and go from there.
Yeah. In my situation, we used to work on everything.
Yeah.
And however, you might not be a good for this job if you're a good candidate, but you'll be good for. I want to talk to you. I don't even care if you're not, because the next job that comes up could be yours, and I have you in my back pocket. So I used to say I have a guy in my back pocket because I have you, because I talked to you about the other role yesterday that you were not qualified, and bam, something comes in today and you're qualified for it. So I'm going to put you forward.
100%.
Because you're a developer, you have a lot of skills, right? So make sure that you develop the relationship with somebody in the company. 100%. You can't lose.
So again, this is great wisdom, Yvonne. Thank you so much. I always tell that the resume is just to get you that phone call. It's not to get you the job. It's just to get you that phone call, and you start selling your value. You start pitching your wisdom here. So always do that. Create the relationship. Make sure you have human interaction. That's how people will like you. People will work with you. They will find you jobs as well, especially recruiters. That's nice, like Yvonne and Mike.
Yes, Mike and I are nice. And if you want more information, you go to my YouTube channel and you're ready to do the interview. I have the 10 most difficult interview questions and answers. I answered them for you already. So you go there, and people go there. They binge watch my channel. That's why the coaching thing not making no money, because I give it all away. My husband said, you give it all away. You give away all the secret sauce. But listen, I'm retired and you guys need the job, right? I know you probably don't need the money. I just want to make sure that you all work, okay?
So Yvonne, recently, if you don't mind, recently there was some companies who send, an assessment, questionnaire, and then maybe they either accept you or reject you. And there's also other companies who do the interview now through a software. That you don't meet anybody. You just go through a software, and you record your answers, and then somebody will tell you yes, you can move to the next step, or no, you don't move to. So, do you have any insights about those two things, or?
I've heard of that, and I have not investigated it a lot because we never did it. You can't do that for the federal government, I don't think. And we worked a lot with the feds, but I don't know if that's being done a lot in Ottawa now, but I know in the United States and all that. So Mike has something on that?
Yeah, there was actually a couple of our clients do that, where they will send you a test that you've got to finish within a certain period of time. And if you do well on that test, then you go to the next step. And if you don't do well, that's the screening process that they're using.
The test. Oh yeah, I've seen them do tests. I don't agree with tests. Personally, I talk against tests because I don't think. But I think for developers, sometimes they will send you a test. I know a couple of companies, yes, in Ottawa would send a test.
Yes.
If it is other kinds of tests, then I don't go for it. But maybe they want to see how you could code something on your own. That's okay because you're a developer and you're, special skill. But if it's anything else, if it's like a project manager or a cloud, you know, like a cloud BA or something, and they're giving them a test. I would be really upset about that.
Yeah, it's a little more difficult there.
No, I think, you know, what I saw from some folks is, you know, there is like a disc profile test, you know, a questionnaire about your character. You know, are you, let's say, you know, more decision maker? Are you a team player?
It's
You know,
like
those
high five.
Sorry?
It's like you do a high five test or a strengths finder or something like that, because I've done those before, right?
Yes.
Yes, I don't. So it's more of EQ type of tests, right? I don't, honestly, I do not, even though those tests that I did, I came out like my personality was exactly like how the way I did high five recently and I did strengths finder, but I do not believe it. I do not believe in it. I do not think, I think there's enough there on your resume and the reference checks that they're going to do, and they're going to call you in for an interview. Those personality tests, I would not want to be doing personality tests.
Yeah, they call them the attitude.
The attitude test. So it's more on the soft skills, the personality, and you know, like, I don't know. I just don't like those tests, because you can always develop people, right? Why would I reject you based on that? You come into the company and grow. You know, so I don't like them. I don't like them.
Yeah. Cool. I guess, you know, this is definitely great, Yvonne. I'm not sure if there's any other questions. I don't want to keep everybody staying late, but again, if anyone still have a final question, maybe before we end up, feel free to fire on. Otherwise, you know, we'll give you back some time here.
Sarah, did you have something to say? Sarah Morico?
Mauricio.
Mauricio.
Mauricio, you're very quiet, Mauricio. Did you have anything to say?
No, it's all clear for me. Yes, I appreciate
Clear?
that.
Clear as mud? Good.
Clear as mud, yeah.
Nice. Okay, so you're gonna come back and tell Ahmed how you've been successful in getting your next job?
Actually, he's working now.
Oh,
yeah, I'm working on. Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess, you know, that's it for today. Again, thank you so much, Yvonne. This is definitely lots of wisdom, lots of insights. We loved your approach and, you know, your great insights here. And thanks, Mike, again. You know, you definitely
More than
added
welcome.
to the wisdom here. Thanks, everybody, for showing up today. And, you know, we're looking forward to see everybody in the job they love and everybody getting hired soon. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Obrigado.
Obrigado.
Okay, guys, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.